Hey you guys, this is Jerry Mateo with recordingsoftware.com. Remember to check out the link in the description below where we will have an awesome deal on these two products that we're featuring in today's video. Hey you guys, welcome back. And today we're going to be taking a look at a audio restoration package that we're putting together. So we have iZotope RX Elements and Neutron Advanced 2. So RX Elements is a really great plugin because it allows you to have the basic version of RX while also giving you these four repair products in plugin versions. You have the declicker, declipper, dehum, and the vocal denoiser. These are things that I actually use in every voiceover. And then RX is a great channel strip just in general. So let's take a quick listen to this. This is a recording of a lesson that I did. This is using a cheap lavalier mic. You can hear me bumping into it. And you can also hear the noise from the cheap mixer that they used to record this. So a thing to note when you're recording electric guitars, especially when you're reamping, is you have to make sure that you have a proper reamp box. A lot of times people actually think you can just go line out and then bring the volume down, but you end up... So you can hear a lot of plosives, a lot of noise, and a lot of hiss. You can even see how I'm clipping here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit the normalization, and we're going to make it no longer clip. So now I'm no longer clipping. There's lots of tools that we have. We can zoom in, zoom out, zoom to selection, zoom out to show the whole file. We have the zoom tool, grabber tool. We have the time selection tool, the time frequency selection tool, frequency, lasso, paintbrush, and magic wand, which also has the options to select up to 10 harmonics. And then we have the envelope for the automation for volume. We don't need to use any of the advanced controls because this is pretty straightforward. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use the frequency selector tool, and we're going to find the highest frequency that those plosives come in, and we're going to just listen to that. So you can hear that I'm bumping the mic right there. If we just hit delete, thing to note when you're recording electric guitars, especially when you're reamping, is you have to make sure that you have a prop. So we've gotten rid of a little bit of the warmth of the vocal, but we've also completely got rid of the plosive. Now what we can do is we can use the gain and fades tool to actually help us get rid of unwanted noise like this. And over here, right? So a thing to note, and then I'm going to actually fade into this. So a thing to note when you're recording electric guitars, especially when you're reamping, is and then these breaths, I want to reduce by about 12 decibels. Reamping is you have to make sure that you have a proper reamp box. A lot of times, and the reason for that is because I think that having very loud breaths is quite annoying. We can have quiet breaths to sound natural, but loud ones that are just as loud as your voiceover are quite annoying. Down, but you process this down, but you... So we don't need any fades because this is really good. And then the next thing is we're going to use the vocal denoiser. Now check out what happens if I have this on. But you end up introducing a lot of artifacts and noise. Now I have this set up to be very aggressive. I'm having the threshold bumped all the way up and the reduction all the way. So if we process this and we listen back. So a thing to note when you're recording electric guitars, and then we go to the initial state. So a thing to note when you're recording electric, you can hear a lot of noise. We've lost a lot of high end though. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the plugin of Neutron 2 to actually bring that back up. Now, as far as the controls of Neutron 2, we have a gate, an equalizer, which actually allows you to have dynamic EQs on any module that you select. You just turn them on. You have two compressors that can be single or multiband, a multiband exciter, and a multiband transient shaper. You also have the ability to use a track assistant to automatically listen, but I like to do things by ear, especially with voiceovers. So let's take a quick listen to what I've done. So a thing to note when you're recording electric guitars, especially when you're reamping, is you have to make sure that you have a proper reamp box. A lot of times people actually think you can just go line out and then bring the volume down, but you end up introducing a lot of artifacts and noise. Another thing is I'm actually using a little trick where I use the transient shaper to actually reduce the sustain. So that way it doesn't keep the reverb from the room. So watch when I turn it off. So a thing to note when you're recording electric guitars, especially when you're reamping, is you have to make sure that you have a proper reamp box. A lot of times people actually... So you can see how it's obviously done a lot to help repair that. I'm using the built-in limiter. I'm using IRC2. We have hard, IRC low latency, and 2. And we just basically hit the limiter, select the threshold, and push it up. But as far as EQ goes, I'm getting rid of some resonant frequencies, getting rid of some low end, adding a tiny low end boost, and then adding quite a bit of high end to bring back that shimmer and that air. I'm using the compressor in single band mode. I have it using a mix of 58.7% compressed, a very fast attack and release, a ratio of 4.7 to 1, and I'm doing about 2 dBs of makeup gain. Then I'm just hitting the transient shaper straight to the limiter. So let's process this. As we can see, it looks completely different. And let's do an A/B of the initial state. So a thing to note when you're recording electric guitar, and then after. So a thing to note when you're recording electric guitars, especially when you're reamping, is you have to make sure that you have a proper reamp box. A lot of times people actually think you can just go line out and then bring the volume down, but you end up introducing a lot of artifacts and noise. So that sounds amazing compared to what we started out with. That's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to check out the link in the description below. This is Jerry Mateo with recordingsoftware.com, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.